Language is one of the higher intellectual function and instrumental for the human culture. With this, I would like to discuss on the processing areas and their disorders. As usual, we have sensory motor cortex and various areas in the brain. So the first and foremost, Wernicke's area is the language processing area named after Wernicke was a scientist who dedicated his life for the research on the Wernicke's area. Area number 22 is located in the posterior end of the superior temporal lobe, is meant for the language processing area. And second area is the Broca's area, is the language production area. Area number 44 just locates in front of the motor cortex of the frontal lobe, just lateral to the motor association area. We have the auditory cortex. From there the fibers projects to the Wernicke's area for the processing of the auditory related language information. And we have one more important area, is area number 39 and 40, is known as angular gyrus, is locates in the supramarginal gyrus of the temporal lobe. And the dominant hemisphere is known as categorical hemisphere. The left hemisphere is dominant in the right-handed person and vice versa. And the information from the auditory cortex projects to the Wernicke's area for the language related auditory processing. From area number 18 of the visual information projects to the angular gyrus, from angular gyrus to the Wernicke's area, from Wernicke's area to the Broca's area via arcuate fascicles. From Broca's area, finally motor fibers projects to the motor speech area, where the speech articulation would be possible. This is about the areas of the language processing and language production from the auditory and visual input. Aphasia means difficulty of the language production or language function. Anomic aphasia is difficulty understanding in the written language as well as pictures, because the problem lies or destruction in the lesion in the angular gyrus. The lesion may be blood vessel damage or accidents or any trauma. And the fluent aphasia is the damage of area number 44. The person cannot understand and talks extensively with little sense. So the problem lies in the Wernicke's area, area number 22. Visual or auditory information processing becomes difficulty in this lesion. And conduction aphasia, the lesion in the arcuate fibers, difficulty to put words together because of the conduction aphasia, because the person can understand the language, visual as well auditory, since the angular and Wernicke's areas are intact. The non-fluent aphasia, lesion in the Broca's area, is the difficulty in production of the language, because the Broca's area is a motor area for the language production, and person can speak very difficult with little words. And dyslexia is a difficulty with language, reading, decoding and intelligence, and seen in the 5% of the children, and may be inherited and acquired.